These are things that you can do to heal insecure attachment. If you feel anxiously attached to other people, meaning you always want more from them, it feels like never enough, you are always checking, you need a lot of validation, I'm going to tell you some things that you can do. Learning to self-soothe, which means regulating your emotions, which means when you are sad, that's okay, you can be sad. When you're angry, that's okay, you can be angry. When you feel jealous, that's okay, you can be jealous. But what does a jealous person do to calm down? Maybe they take a bath, maybe they go for a walk, maybe they go shopping, maybe they call their friend. What does a sad person do? Do they take a nap? Do they buy something for themselves? Do they hang out with their dog? Regulating your emotions is about understanding what feels like what is what. Am I sad? Am I angry? Am I jealous? Am I envious? Am I lonely? Am I disconnected? Am I insecure? Like, what's actually happening? You can name it, because once you name it, you can say, okay, nervous people nervous people can do this to calm down. Sad people can do this to support themselves. Lonely people can socially engage in some capacity. Angry people can find an outlet for their excess energy. So that's what it means, self-soothe. That's what self-soothe means. What does a sad person do? Does a sad person cry and lay in their bed and take a nap and call their mom and, write a sad letter? Or, is that what sad people do? That's okay. Because you won't be sad forever, but you are sad right now, so shouldn't you feel it? Next would be choosing a partner that is willing to stay during emotional reactivity. It is your choice who your partner is, and not everybody can be there when someone is emotionally reactive. If you continue to choose somebody who can't be there when you're emotionally reactive, and that is a need for you, that's not a need in everybody's relationship to be emotionally reactive. If that is a need for you in your relationship, then you need to have a partner who is willing to stay during emotional reactivity. That doesn't mean you can go off on them, doesn't mean you can yell at them, or cry or threaten them or give them an ultimatum or throw their shit or whatever. It means that you can express how you're feeling, and they do not dismiss how you're feeling or automatically make it about them. They are present with your emotional experience as you self-regulate. Developing boundaries. I don't want to do that. I want to do it, but not like that. That would make me uncomfortable if it went like this. I need a little bit more of this. I don't want that. I would like it if. And learning how to respect the other person's boundaries as well. And this is where that comes up. I deserve to feel sad, I deserve to feel angry, we're in a conflict, and you deserve, you have to talk about this with me, you can't have your own space. That's not being respectful of the other person's boundaries. Just because you are having a feeling doesn't mean that the other person needs to be there. It's a collaboration and an overlap of what can I accommodate, what can you accommodate, what can we bring together, what do we need to keep separate, and how do we share our boundaries with each other so that it remains clear. Becoming aware of your own relationship triggers. If you have past bad experiences in relationships that have shifted your attachment style, that is logical and fine. But then there's a part of it where you need to understand what are the things about relationships, intimate relationships, that trigger you, make you feel anxious, make you feel insecure, make you feel like you need reassurance, make you uncomfortable, and learn emotional regulation techniques and coping skills. I get triggered when I feel like my partner is checking on other people. Did that happen in your last relationship? Were they checking on other people and then they cheated on you? How does that make you feel? Does that make you feel jealous? Well, how do you feel when you feel jealous? Do you feel angry? What do you do when you get angry? Oh, you throw rocks. Okay, well, we can't throw rocks, but you are allowed to be angry, and it is allowed to not be impacting this present situation, but it can be an impact of the past. So what's a relationship trigger? Feeling betrayed, feeling alone, feeling unheard, feeling ignored, feeling dismissed. And what emotion does that bring up in you? You're allowed to have that emotion, but what does an angry person need to do? They don't need to mass text their partner or call them and try to get them to pick up. They need to find a discharge of some sort, that's what that is doing, for the angry energy until they're able to come back to a more regulated state, and then they can bring up the concern. I felt, left alone. I felt betrayed. I felt abandoned. I felt upset. I felt insecure. I felt unimportant, undervalued when you weren't there to be there when I was angry. And then that's a moment where you can connect, but that doesn't, it leaves the emotional reaction in a different place. It doesn't need to come to every relational experience, your emotional experience of something. So maybe those coping skills are how can I manage my anxiety? How can I heal from my past through talking about it, or through engaging with a therapist, through developing safe relationships, and through making sure I'm trusting somebody in alignment with my values over time, and I don't just go along with it because it is soothing my anxiety. How to heal fearful avoidant attachment style, and what you can do to manage if you feel afraid of getting close to people because you will eventually be rejected. One of the first things you can do is learn to verbalize, say into words, your fear of engulfment and how that feels to you. Everybody has kind of a different, but that is a common thread of that attachment style, is they are afraid if they get close to somebody, they will be engulfed by that other person. They won't have a sense of self. They won't have any way to get out. They're going to hurt the other person. They're not going to be able to live up to the expectations. They're going to fail, which will result in them getting rejected. How does that fear of engulfment sound for you? Is it like, I'm afraid we're going to have only shared friends. I'm afraid we're never going to have any time for ourselves. I'm afraid you're always going to expect me to be physical or verbal or emotional when I can't be or I don't want to be, or I'm feeling obligated. And when you feel that fear, what comes up? Do you feel insecure? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel sad? Angry? Triggered? Does it make you feel like a kid? Does it make you feel like you don't have independence? Does it make you feel like you don't have a choice? Does it make you feel like force? And then what do you do with those feelings when you feel like you're being forced to do something? Do you take it out on that person? Are you able to self-regulate? What do you do to calm down? This is partially why if somebody is fearful avoidant, they need to prioritize choosing a partner that is willing to give them space when they're overwhelmed. Not everyone needs that sort of space to process in their relationship. Some people don't need that space. Some people prefer to address it immediately. If you are the type of person who needs that space, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's important to prioritize choosing a partner who is able and willing to give you that space and giving you a chance to come back together after a conflict, after you've processed or thought something through more. Learning how to manage your own anxiety is important. Learning what anxiety feels like, what triggers anxiety, and how that manifests in your body. Some people don't say, I have anxiety. They say, I feel uncomfortable, I feel too close, I feel smothered, I feel like I have no privacy, I feel trapped, I feel stuck, I feel forced, I feel coerced, I don't know what to do, I can't get out of it, I don't know how we got here. And that's describing engulfment, overwhelm, wanting space, anxiety, anticipating bad things happening instead of being in the present. So it's important to understand how that comes up for you, what it feels like, and how you respond when you feel those internal sensations of like worry or insecurity or anxiety or fear of rejection, fear in general. Understanding your own feelings and fears around dissatisfaction is very important. With fearful avoidant, it's often vocalized like, I'm worried I'm going to disappoint, I'm worried I will not feel satisfied, I'm worried I'm going to get stuck in a dynamic that I can't get out of that doesn't feel fulfilling for either person. So understanding what makes you feel dissatisfied, how do you identify that you don't feel satisfied, and how comfortable or familiar are you with like your ability to change and shift based on the needs of the relationship over time. You can do this by practicing open communication. This means talking in the moment about what's going on internally. It can be about a feeling or a thought or an observation, but instead of holding it back, structuring it, processing it by yourself, engaging in environments, not necessarily with your intimate partner, with anybody, where you can practice open communication and explore and experience how you can be responded to in a variety of ways, not just in a dismissive or in a way that abandons you. Increasing your tolerance to sit with anxiety and choosing to respond when things come up. The more practiced you can become at choosing how you will respond to situations, the more healed you are of the fearful avoidant attachment style. Because if you are holding back for fear of conflict, for fear of rejection, for fear of judgment, for fear of avoidance, you are not sitting with the anxiety that the uncertainty and the discomfort brings to you, which makes you reactive, which makes you on edge, which makes you feel out of control. Learning to sit with how you are feeling, even when that is anxious or dissatisfied or uncomfortable or rejected or abandoned, alone, whatever, sad, whatever. When you know how you feel in that moment, you can choose how to respond. I feel sad and I need to respond like a sad person right now, which is maybe a little bit more pulled back. I feel open and maybe I need to like try to put myself out there. I feel anxious. I need to provide protection for myself. And this allows you more choice in your response instead of just blowing up at someone and then increasing your feelings of guilt after the fact and repeating that cycle.